Welcome into the locker room on this Wednesday afternoon. We are in studio today joined by Jason Boatman and Devon Berry. Today we're going to be talking about football, but specifically officiating football. That's why these two gentlemen are joining me in studio. So guys, let's start. Jason, you guys are with East Alabama Football Officials. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, tell people a little bit about you, and talk about what your role is with East Alabama Officials.
East Alabama Football Officials Association. I've been doing it since 07, 08. Before we come here, me and Devon was trying to figure out who'd been doing it the longest. But but yeah, I've been doing it, been all over the state at some point or another, calling ball from north to, all the way to Mobile this past year. So it was fun. It's excitement. I'm just an umpire, one of the umpires, and I help train the umpires. So.
All right. Devon, why don't you go ahead and tell people a little bit about you and how long
All
you've been
right.
doing it?
Devon Berry, Vice President, East Alabama Football Officials Association, also head trainer. I think I've been in the game, that's what I call it, at least at least 16 years probably. Love it. Out of all the sports that I officiate, from soccer to basketball to football, football is my favorite. It's just a brotherhood, you know.
Absolutely.
It's a brotherhood and I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I'll tell you guys, my dad, way back in the day, like when I was in like fourth grade. So, I don't want to make you feel old, Devon, but I remember when my dad and Devon used to umpire baseball together.
Yes.
I mean, it was like every night. And so I've known Devon for a long time for that. And Jason, you've been in the game. I mean, gosh, I remember when I was playing in junior high.
Yeah.
And then, of course, all the years I've been in radio now, broadcasting, seeing you on the field.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
I enjoy it.
Yeah, so I was just let's kind of start, guys. You guys are obviously looking to recruit new officials. You want people, younger people to come out, guys to join your team. So you guys have a meeting coming up next week on Thursday at the Oxford Civic Center.
Correct.
So Jason, why don't you just kind of talk a little bit about just for people that might be interested, how they can
If
reach
you're
out to
in,
you.
all right, be happy to. If you're interested in coming out and joining us, I mean, we're always looking for some people, you know. People retire, people say, this ain't for me, whatnot ever. Come on out, Oxford Civic Center next Thursday night, 6 p.m. Come in, somebody's gonna be at the front door, somebody will be at the back door, and they'll say, hey, go to the room, whatever. The first meeting is usually laid back, meet and greet. You might stand up, who got you there? Shake everybody's hand. We're probably there, 30, 45 minutes first meeting?
Yeah, 45 minutes maybe to an hour.
Yeah, we try to keep every meeting about an hour. And then, and then we'll set the next meetings. Of course, they're already set, but, we'll have, what we'll have after that, we'll have a rookie meeting, and they usually start at, they start last year at 5:30?
5:30.
5:30, and they'll go 30, 45 minutes, and then we'll bring the veterans in. We've got a guy named Tom Pratt that does our rookie meeting a lot.
Yes.
And then Devon does our veteran meeting.
Yes.
And then after that, and during our veteran meeting, sometimes we'll have breakout sessions, and then each position, which we'll cover here later on, referees will go together, umpires will go together, and short wings, they go with this guy here a lot of times.
Yeah.
And so, and that's it. Well, it's a big brotherhood. We have fun.
Oh, love it.
And Devon, so do you guys meet every single week all throughout the season, or is it just leading up to the season? Talk about just a little bit about that.
Okay, leading up to the season, we meet every week. And once the season starts, it's every other week. It's a lot that goes into the meeting, especially when doing the training. And I thank God for the committee I have around me. But from film study to rule book knowledge, it's a lot preparing for those meetings. Because I want these guys to come in and learn something. So I've been vice president, was year 4?
I think, year 4.
Year 4. And so try to find stuff that's interesting for them to talk about. I'm also from film study and all that. So.
And I said this a long time ago, you get out of this stuff what you put into it.
Yeah.
And so, been doing it as long as been doing it. I still watch a lot of film. I still go out and try to watch the younger guys. If I don't do much junior high, I'm probably gonna start back doing Saturday ball this year. But through the week, I'm usually out watching somebody. If Devin tells me, hey, go watch so-and-so out at Saks tonight at a junior high game, okay. Or go to Ohatchee, or go to Oxford, somewhere. Or not even Devin, but just if our assigner says, hey, do you mind, how's so-and-so doing? Okay, we'll go out and watch and see how they're doing.
So just talk about, you kind of just hinted at it, but you have junior high football that happens early in the week. You got high school football on Friday nights. Then you've got, Little League on Saturday. So there's definitely opportunities for people out there to be on the field or be working the clock. So just talk a little bit more about not just Friday nights, but the junior high, the JV, and the Little League, what all that entails.
Go ahead.
I'll jump in. A lot of times with your junior high and your JV, that's your training ground. That's where you cut your teeth. I remember when I started, you didn't expect to have a varsity game until year 3 or 4. Then when you start getting varsity games, you may be at your smaller schools. And then you had to call on Saturdays. So Saturday ball too is where your training ground too. So like on Saturdays, I think you have the NEYFL.
Northeast Alabama Youth Athletics, by the way, we're proud partnership with Northeast Alabama Youth Athletics, where we bring highlights of Northeast Alabama Youth Athletic games. So just want to pitch that out there. So any guys that are out there on Saturday, they are on the camera. We gave them love unlike anyone else ever has before last year.
Great.
So we plan to do the same again this fall.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, and we cover, not as an association, but the guy that assigns those games from our association.
Right.
And so most of the guys that call those games are from our association. So at the beginning of the season, they have 2 jamboree games, 2 weekends of jamborees, and we officiate those games. But we train our young officials. Then new guys come in, we say, got somebody right behind you, right next to them, talking about movement, what they're looking at. So those games are very important.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they're very important.
So guys, let's just kind of talk about, I'm just throwing estimates out. The guy's going, okay, I really want to do it. How much is it going to cost me to get started? What's it going to cost somebody that has to get started? Well, take a test and all that fees.
Well, I think it's about $110. You just went to a meeting last week in Montgomery, so I think that went up.
Just to get started, you have to take your exam, which will run $70 this year.
Okay.
Because everybody in the state this year, every official, once you pay that money, you get access to NFHS.
So that's great.
Which is great.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So,
actually, matter of fact, let me add on that, because you just mentioned that, not to interrupt you, but this is just a story I want to add to this. And I didn't realize this as an official. But being a wrestling official, I guess it's the same way.
Right.
And I was in Georgia 2 years ago. It was the playoffs. And the reason that I wasn't working that Friday night is because I had to referee a wrestling tournament at 6 a.m. the next morning. So I couldn't be out late, and then get up. And I remember thinking, man, I really want to. It was Anniston. Anniston was playing Andalusia. It was the game that Andalusia came back.
Right.
And at Anniston, I thought, man, I want to watch this. I was going to go to NFHS, and I was going to pay for a subscription just to watch the end of that game, because I heard it was getting intense. Yeah. And it was like, congratulations, you have a free subscription for being an official. Yes. And I thought, whoa, this has got to be the coolest thing.
Coolest thing.
So continue on about it.
Yeah, so I think Ken Washington, who's the director of state officials, and he sent out a survey, and like 80% of officials say, yeah, we'll pay the extra $10.
Because I already was paying $10, $11 a month. And so for our fees go up $10 a year, and we get it for the entire year, man, that's worth it.
Absolutely, because you get not just football, but man, basketball season rolls around. Hey, man, I want to see how Spring Garden's doing in the playoffs, because Ace Austin's going to take them deep. I want to watch the Super 7 games at work or whatever. You can. Same thing during baseball season.
Right.
So absolutely, it's definitely worth it.
But, you pay your $70, then a $10 background check, which they also stated once you pay it this year, they're trying to get it covered where you don't have to pay it the next year. And eventually, you have a 5-year window, hopefully. But that'll be later on down the line. So that's $80. Then your uniform starter kit's probably going to run you $125, $130.
I think I'm seeing them. I looked the other day, a couple of weeks ago. They're about $150 this year.
Okay, so they're gonna cost you.
But you might could even find some stuff cheaper, of course.
Especially people that's retiring that we know, and they bring their stuff back. We had one Sergeant Miller.
Right.
He went to California and brought all his stuff and said, anybody wants it, here you go.
Yeah, and there's a new place in Fort McClellan.
Absolutely, and they got good stuff.
Team sports.
Yeah,
so we're going to get them to come to one of our meetings too, and our guys can buy from them too.
Right.
Yeah, I love Bill. He does a great job. We covered their grand opening on our East Alabama Now News. So guys, let's just talk a little bit more about, okay, this is what it costs to get started. What are they going to get back in return? Talk about the pay changes, it seems like every year. So
if you're on a varsity game, you got 5-man crews and you have 7-man crews. 5-man crews make $110, $120.
7-man?
5-man.
5-man is $120.
And then 7-man is $110.
Is $110. Correct.
Junior high drops down like $65, $75.
Yeah.
What about youth?
$135 a Saturday.
They just got a raise
Cash
this year.
money.
Cash money. I like cash money.
We all like cash.
Look, I like cash money so much that I was doing varsity baseball, and I told Larry and him, I was like, I'm done. I told Cecil, I said, send me to Oxford Park every night. I'll take the pay cut to get that cash money.
Yes,
Absolutely.
cash money is
Can't beat
good.
the cash money.
Yeah, so you'll make your money back
And more.
and more. Depends on how available you are. To me,
Right.
your best ability is being available. And so you want to take whatever assignments you got. You don't want to turn back a lot because you want to get those reps under your belt.
Yeah.
And that helps you
Absolutely.
become a better official.
You got to be someone I'm the type of guy, man, like when I'm in it, I'm in it. So I
Yes.
want to call
Yes.
every night, you
Yes.
know. And of course, my work schedule, I didn't get to do baseball as much this past season as I have in years past. But like on a Saturday, if I don't have anything going on, man, I'm going to go to Albertville and call baseball. You know, I mean, it's just
Now, I think one of our former officials is up there at Albertville, Todd Russell.
calling football.
No, he's over the park department up there, I think.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
All right, so that's kind of a little bit of an estimate of what the guys are definitely going to make more than it costs to get started. But guys, you mentioned you're an umpire. You said he's a.
He's short wing.
He's short.
And not
What-
just talk about my size.
But we're gonna get into the actual what an umpire is, because I think baseball when I hear umpire, but umpires are thinking football.
Absolutely.
So we're gonna talk a little bit more about that in just a minute. We are gonna take a quick break. When we come back, we're gonna talk more about the different roles that they play on the field on Friday. Talk about some of the coaches' favorite things they'd love to see on the field. That's the sarcastic jokes. But hey, we'll be right back. Don't go away. We'll continue on the Locker Room.
We live in a world that moves quickly. And while we are able to connect faster than ever through technology, maybe you've noticed that real connection is hard to come by. Parker Memorial Baptist Church offers you a place to connect, a place to learn more about Jesus and the difference He can make in your life, a place to build relationships with like-minded believers, or maybe discover what it means to be a follower of Jesus Christ. A place to use the gifts and talents God has given you. A place where we love God and we love you. Parker Memorial Baptist Church, 1205 Quintard Avenue, Anniston. Visit our website for details.
We are back on the Locker Room on this Wednesday afternoon, joined in studio by Jason Boatman and Devon Berry from East Alabama Football Officials. Before the break, we talked a little bit about their meeting coming up at the end of next week. We talked a little bit about what it costs to get started to be an official, how much you're going to make in return. This segment, we're going to talk about some of the things that coaches just love to see. Guys, let's start, though. There's a couple of different roles that people play every Friday, every Monday, every Saturday. You've, of course, got line judges. You've got an umpire. You've got a white hat. Just talk a little bit about the different roles that each person plays on a Friday night.
Mr. Vice President.
Oh, he's going to me. All right. The referee, or better known as the white hat, he's the one that gives all the signals for penalties, for fouls, but he's the head of that crew. And you got your umpire who is supposed to control what's going on in the middle.
We control chaos.
Yeah.
We control the ball game.
I want to ask
Because listen, they can't play that. They can't snap that ball until we get that ball spotted.
And
Right.
I beg to differ. Because I'm a short wing. I'm a linesman line judge. And I feel we run the game. We have more
But we
responsibility
control
than anybody in the game. But, you know, we'll argue about that all day.
Well,
See, it's, guys, brothers fight, okay? So when they say it's a brotherhood, it's literal, all right?
Yes.
All right, Debbie, keep
And
going.
then we have your deep wings. You got your back judge, and on the sides, you got your field judge, side judge. They cover most deep passes down the field. You're going to get most of your DPI, OPI calls from them. And we all have keys in certain parts of the
Absolutely.
field that we watch. You don't watch football like people think at home, you seeing the whole thing. We watch areas and certain assignments, certain keys. That's what we pick up on. So the field is divided up. 7-man, you have more eyes on the field. 5-man,
You gotta
losing to
expand-
officials.
you gotta expand your zone.
Got to expand your zone. And so, but we all work in unison.
and the biggest thing is we also try to keep everything boxed in.
Yes.
Keep everything boxed in. So
All the players in front of you, nobody behind you.
nobody.
So you can get in there when it gets chippy, so you can stop things. Preventive officiating. That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Where's the, go ahead, Jason.
You know, go ahead.
Where's that line where you got guys going back and forth? Where does that line get to where, okay, now we got to chunk our flag because
Well,
What you doing with?
as an umpire, you want to be
Yeah.
very, very vocal. Me and this guy here has worked tons of games together. And you've been in a bunch of my games. And you can hear me on the sideline. I'm loud. If I'm not hoarse when I walk off that field, I don't feel like I've done my job. I say every play, good run, good tackle, help each other up, roll off each other. Every play, 130-something plays a game is what I think is the average. And, you know, if the cheapest start, hey, cut it out. I'm not going to listen to it. And 9 times out of 10, the kids will listen. If they don't, let that coach know over there, let that short week know on our radio. Hey, tell him to get 75.
And
What's he doing? You tell him. That kid's coming out more likely because the coach don't want that right there.
Yeah. But to me, once they get there, something to lead up to it. But if you're vocal and you're communicating with the players, you kind of see what's going on, and then they hear you and they come talk to you. And I talk to them just like anybody else. I don't raise my voice at them at all.
You got to build
crack jokes, all that stuff with them.
Build a relationship with these players. You got to build a relationship with them.
But if I haven't told you, knock it off, and then you go ahead
and still do it,
then you earned it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think people, especially parents, maybe even coaches, realize they always think it's the official's fault. It's always the official's fault. If you lose, you lose. I remember there was a team that lost a game 55-0. I heard a mom on Facebook talking about the officials really came for us tonight, 55-0. Or a baseball game, you know, it can be 10-0. Teams, you know, a couple runs from a mercy rule, and I'm hearing somebody yapping out there about how. But I don't think people realize, guys, that we actually, as officials, and I'm speaking from one that's done wrestling for, you know, going on year 4 this winter, guy that's done baseball for, you know, longer than that. We generally want the best for these athletes. We're generally protecting us. The big thing in baseball is people always complain about strikes and zones, you know, strike zone. But in reality, I'm telling the catcher, hey, he's outside. They don't realize you're actually telling a guy, because I'm a guy that does that, you're telling him where he's missing, where they just think, oh, you're inconsistent.
And so in baseball, that's your preventive officiating, I guess.
So, and then, you know, the same way as explaining like in wrestling, I tell guys before they even step on the mat, make sure your shoes tied, because you can get a stalling warning right off the dot, and then you're right off the bat if your shoes untied. It's a rule in wrestling now, you know. So I'm telling them, make sure your shoes tied. Because I had to cost a kid in Georgia. It was a placing match too. It was a 3rd place match, and the kid he already had a stalling, you know, warning against him.
Right.
And we were going into you know, overtime, and I'm sitting there and see his shoes untied, but I can't do nothing unless he goes to tie it.
Right.
And I'm sitting there telling myself in my head, don't try to tie it. Because I didn't want to do that to him.
Right.
I didn't want to do it.
Right.
And he goes down, and I had to hit him, and the match was over before overtime even started, because that's the point, you know, because he went to tie his shoe. And the coach is like, really, you're going to do that? And I'm like, that's the rule. But I tried. They don't. But you got dad that screams at you on the 50-yard line up in the stands. People don't realize that you guys are actually genuinely trying to help these guys on Friday nights. You're trying to prevent costing them 15 yards.
I've been told by different folks in the state, and Devin knows this, that I do too much preventive officiating. I'm not one of these officials or umpire in the middle that throws that yellow flag a lot. Hey, 75, watch your hands. You just get close right there. I'm talking every single play.
But it's on the players not to foul.
Absolutely.
The rules are the rules.
Absolutely.
And the rules don't change from year to year.
They don't change.
And explain to people, guys, the rules, just because in college football on Saturday a guy gets hit with a 15-yard pass interference call for this, doesn't mean that's the same rule on Friday night.
That's
Friday.
that's NCAA, and we're NFHS.
Yes. So we're National Federation. So even when you go back to pass interference, in high school, it's not an automatic first down.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Where in college,
it is.
It is. And so even on holding calls, when they changed the rule last year, so the run ends up behind the line of scrimmage, or before you come in and you're spotting the ball and you're backing it up 10, which was a big change for umpires. Mm-hmm. But people, that's uncatchable. It's no uncatchable in high school.
There's not a rule that says uncatchable in
high school.
I've heard that one a lot from people.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
The ball was 20 yards over his head.
It's in high school, that's not it.
Right.
So it's 2 different rules. Even from NCAA to NFL on Sundays, it's different. And so people, all because they watch football a lot, sometimes don't know all the rules, or they getting it mixed up with NFL and NCAA.
Not to knock any of the viewers or anything, but that's what we call those couch refs.
Yeah.
Those fence huggers on Friday nights that we hear over there. Mm-hmm. Believe me, we hear y'all.
and I'm the guy, and it makes people mad, but I don't care. I mean, I'll go back with them. I'm not going to be ran over. You know,
Right.
I mean,
Absolutely.
I'm super nice.
Absolutely, you are.
I think I've only ever ejected a coach one time, and it was at a school I'm not going to mention, but
But I guarantee he earned it though.
he earned it, and his assistant coach earned it, and then the other coach earned it for going with him while
Right.
they were going, and it turned into 3 people at one time.
Wow, I bet
And
you
that's
had fun doing all
yeah,
that
I was
before,
telling Tank Martin.
Yeah.
Tank Martin. I was
Yeah.
calling him. So if you ever see him, ask him about it.
I have to ask
We
Tank
was in
about that
baseball.
one.
He's up in Haverville. He just said, "You just got carried away, didn't you?" I said, "I told them to shut up. They kept going." But guys, just kind of where I was going to go is just. Well, I lost my train of thought actually on where I was going to go, but I was going somewhere before that.
I mean, we can talk about all this.
I don't remember what I was going to do. All right, so we got a couple little things we're going to talk about though. This right here, Jason. Sometimes you can just drop it, right?
Yes.
Some people just drop it. Some people like to get a little more animated with it. They like to
Gunsling it.
gunsling it.
Yep.
But this right here, typically if you see this on the field, that means there's a flag.
There's a
on the play.
penalty somewhere.
All right, so describe why is this yellow? I'm just kidding.
I don't know the technology why it's yellow.
What is? Just talk about when you throw a flag and getting together to talk about what you saw.
Well, usually when I throw one as an umpire in the middle, I've got a false start, a snap infraction, I've got a hold, I've got a chop block, I've got a face mask. That's pretty much what covers it right there in the middle for what I'm gonna have.
Yeah, well.
But then you got live ball, dead ball fouls,
Right.
encroachment. Now people's gonna say, well, the defense jumped. Okay, well I'm back there behind the defense. I can't see if the defense crossed the line or not. That's Devon.
That's us.
That's short wing guys.
Yeah.
And so if they call it, hey, what you got? Then they're gonna ask me, did he get drawn off the side? Did somebody up there move? I didn't see nobody move. Okay, then we got it on defense.
Mm-hmm.
So when we have a foul, if it's a dead ball, we kill it right then. We get on the radios and we say, hey, what you got? Okay, we got 5 yards on blue team going yonder way. And so then we get together and we wait on the visitor side. Visitor side and the umpire always step it off together. And then the home side holds and he makes sure that we're right.
And the key part is make sure we get it correct.
Correct.
So there's always communication going on. If I got a flag, hit my radio, or it's a flag on that side, I need to know what we got. Sometimes I've been like a fish out of water and I fuss it. They tell you that's my pet peeve.
Oh, he'll get.
I get so hot when I have
He
no
does.
idea what's going on because this coach is asking me what's happening. And I want to give him an answer. And he's, hey, I'm like, chill out, coach. I'll get to you as soon as I can. Next thing you know, we start marking our penalties, then I get hot. But most time, the thing is getting it correct. And so, like I tell the guys in the meetings, if you prepare all week, you shouldn't be surprised on a Friday. It's all in your prep and what you put.
And I've been guilty, still, of being in a hurry, even with him. And he's got ill at me so many times. Come across the rail, Boatman, slow down. What we got?
Yeah.
Talk to me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I got to slow down.
Yeah.
Just chill out. And
I struggle
we're
with
all
that.
guilty of that.
I struggle with that in wrestling because wrestling, you're looking for that takedown, you're ready, and you go, oh wait a minute, he didn't get full control, and you're like, crap. You really got to let it develop. Devin, talk about when you see this right here and a flag gets waved. Talk about somebody threw something, thought they saw it. What justifies enough to come back and say no, that wasn't a flag?
So when an umpire wants somebody to throw a flag and think they've seen something, the worst thing you want to do, you don't want to have, if you hadn't seen it, and you don't think that flag is worthy, you might say, hey, wave that one off. Or the referee might overrule you and say, hey, that wasn't there. And so most time we're going to get together. Now, he'll go with you to the end. But if you tell him wave it off or he feel it wasn't there, then he waves it off. And a lot of times the fans,
Yeah.
But most time that's why you have to be patient. See it, process it, rule on it.
And let it develop in front of you.
Just like wrestling. You let the play develop.
And
Because
another-
sometimes you get gunsling, so twice on it.
Another thing that Devin stresses a lot in our meetings, and we stress in our breakout meetings as well, don't fish in somebody else's pond.
Yeah, unless that means throw your flag in their area.
Right, because we got zones.
Yeah. Unless you know you have it.
Now, if it's a safety factor, if I see a face mask over there on Devin's sideline, whether he sees it or not, I'm not looking over there, but if I'm backside officiating and the ball's going that way and the play's going that way and Devin gets blocked out or maybe the back judge is blocked out, we're running a 5-man crew and he's on the opposite side, and I see a face mask and I'm going to chunk it and I'm going to sling it over there.
And I appreciate it because it's having that whole play box then. Now, we always say don't officiate air. If you have nothing going on in your zone, shift your eyes somewhere else.
And backside,
Yes.
once the ball leaves your area, that's what we call backside officiating. Because I'm backside, and then if something's going on over here behind me, 9 times out of 10, the referee's behind me.
Right.
And so he's backside anything that happens behind me.
Yeah. Now, people may not know this, but you guys actually, you wear an earpiece every week.
Yes.
You guys are mic'd up, talking to each other throughout the game. So, and you don't ever have this, wearing an earpiece. I mean, I struggle with it just sitting at a table.
Well,
I don't even use it
they
as
got
much as
some
I
that
should.
now,
You guys
couple
are
years-
running up and down the field 100 yards.
Well, now they got some that, and I think you
Well,
got one.
I have
It's-
it's a decibel where it
It's
molds
molded
into
to
your
your
ear.
ear.
And so,
Hey, Nathan and Ashley, y'all hear that?
yeah. And so
I'll be sleeping in this thing here soon.
So you heat it up, shape it to your ear,
Yeah.
boom, and it doesn't fall out. It's great.
All right, so this right here is just looks like a standard whistle, Jason, but I was sitting here and I was like, well, my fingers aren't big enough. You got a little bit bigger fingers than me. But talk about your whistle. It's a finger whistle. Is there any
Finger
difference,
whistle.
or is it just that's y'all's
just-
way of
that's
using
just-
the whistle?
And guess
I mean,
what? He don't even blow his whistle.
Well, we do.
It's
every
a,
now and
it's a decoration for umpires.
then. We have to blow them every now and then. Listen, like we said, brotherhood for always arguing and stuff.
Yeah.
It was one of the best ones. But yeah, he's right. Umpires don't blow it much.
Yeah.
A couple times a game, maybe. But that's just if something's happening right in front of me to get their attention. Then this one right here is pretty loud, so I'm not going to sit on it in here.
All right. Well, I don't want you to, 'cause my ears already giving me problems. This just feels like a sandbag, but I know that's not what it is. So explain to me what this is, because I'll be honest with you guys, I got no clue.
Beanbag.
It's a beanbag. Like cornhole, or no? We don't do that.
No, we can't cornhole.
Throw this.
But in case you have a loose ball, basically. And
Fumble.
really,
Fumble.
yes, fumble, loose ball, and all it really does is mark the spot where it happens.
Helps you guys know.
Yes,
Well,
so we
no.
know we can come back. We know we had a loose ball, but I can also come back and say it was on this yard line. So I'm not throwing it in there where the ball came out. Usually I drop it right there where I see the ball come out. So as a reference point, basically.
Cardinal sin nobody wants to have as official.
All right, Jason,
if you
let
have
me guess what this is
If
next.
you have an inverted whistle,
You got to drop it?
drop it because that's where the ball was at when it happened.
All right. Now, I'm going to guess. Again, I've never ref football, but I'm going to assume that this right here
Smart man.
tells me what down it is.
Yes.
Is that right?
That is correct.
For
Nathan, you
everybody
got
but
it
the
right.
umpires.
Okay.
For everybody but the umpires. As an umpire, we wear 2 of them. Reason being, we got to know where the spot of the ball is on the field. In case there's a penalty and we have to go back to the spot of the ball. So I actually wear that one to keep up where the ball is on the field, okay? But I've got another one I wear, it's got 1, 2, 3, 4 that I keep up with the downs on.
Yeah, because the worst thing you can do is lose down.
Absolutely.
And we've
Worst thing
seen
you
it
do is
in
forget
college.
strikes and
We've
balls.
seen it in NFL. You know, strikes and balls, the
Yeah.
same thing. I think that just happened in the Major League game the other day.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was the Astros game or something. But you never want to lose count of a down. For one, if you do lose count of a down, that's the crew's fault. Because if I might have 3rd down and it might be 4th down, the other guy should have that.
And when we have a timeout, heat timeout and everything, if you'll look, every one of us are on the radios. One person's on the radio, and they're saying, hey, Blue's got 2 timeouts, White's got 1 timeout. Yeah, okay. We got 3rd down coming up, 3rd and 10.
It's communication.
Communication.
Always. That's the key.
Always. People probably thinking we got on the radios, probably saying, hey, what we going afterwards? We're going to eat pizza somewhere afterwards, or going somewhere to hang out afterwards?
I'm typically going to John Holder's scoreboard show to see what the latest stuff's going on in high school football.
We're trying to get
Yeah.
back so we can watch it on our phones, because 9 times out of 10 we'll watch it on our phones coming back, because you'll never know what Coach Short's going to
Yeah.
say.
By the way, John Holder, who does high school football Alabama, is also our weatherman on East Alabama Now, which is tonight at 6:30 p.m. We'll be talking a little bit about Choccolocka Park, recapping the youth state tournament, and a couple other things going on. So make sure you like and follow our page so you don't miss that tonight. Hey, we are going to take a quick break, but we're going to continue with Jason and Devin when we get back. We're going to talk more about what a Friday looks like for these guys. Just talk about everything leading up to a game, when the game starts, and everything after. So we'll be right back as we continue on the Locker Room.
For over 60 years, Oxford Lumber has been servicing our area, and our customer service has always been our main focus. Our customer service is what sets us apart from anyone else. From the moment you enter, our highly trained staff will treat you like family.
To enthusiastically provide total customer satisfaction within a positive and self-fulfilling employee relations environment. Visit us at any of our 4 locations or at oxfordlumber.com.
Since 1993, WM Grocery has been a major part of our local community. WM offers the very best in fresh produce and an outstanding meat department. WM also has many local products not found anywhere else and fresh sushi every day. If you need an event catered, come see Mrs. K at any WM store. Curbside pickup is also available for your online grocery orders. Be sure to download the WM app for all the deals of the week and shopper rewards. Go check them out today at any of their locations.
We take pride in our community and appreciate your business.
For metal buildings in Alabama and the Southeast, Waldrop Manufacturing is your one-stop source. A Waldrop metal building provides the coverage and protection your investments need. They specialize in carports, RV covers, portable buildings, and storage buildings. Stop paying rent for storage. With Waldrop's price per foot, you can actually save money by buying straight from the manufacturer. Waldrop buildings are guaranteed because Waldrop manufactures buildings with U.S. steel right here in Calhoun County. Waldrop Manufacturing, serving the entire Southeast. Give them a call today.
We are back on the Locker Room on this Wednesday afternoon. We're going to wrap things up with Jason Boatman and Devon Berry in studio from East Alabama Officials. Guys, we've broke down what it costs to get started, how much money you're going to make. We've talked about the different roles you guys play. We've talked about penalties. We've covered a lot of things. So now let's actually talk about what a Friday looks like for both of you guys. The lead up to officials, I know sometimes they meet together, ride together to a stadium. What happens when you get to a stadium? What happens this much time from the coin toss? You know, just talk about, man, just what happens on a Friday.
I'll go. I usually get off about 2:30 on Fridays. So I usually just try to relax and chill for a little bit. You know, if we're leaving, depends on where we're going. We may leave 3. Probably our just would leave, 3:45?
If you're going that far, hopefully not.
Hopefully not, but usually we try to leave, we'll have to leave about 4:15. You know, we'll meet somewhere in Oxford or Anderson or Giants Ford, you know. And then I just want to get relaxed and get my feet up underneath me. I'll probably drink me one of them monster drinks or something before we go.
And that's him. You want to be hydrated.
Yeah, you definitely want to be hydrated. You drink plenty of water.
He likes that energy.
Oh, yeah. And that's why he's out there making all that noise.
That's why his voice is rested at the end.
But, you know, drink plenty of water, hydrate yourself, take care of your body. I mean, I've already started drinking plenty of water right now because it's hot out there and I work outside a good bit some. And so, you know, and then when it gets time to leave, go. Meet up with everybody and ride together as a crew, leave as a crew. We get there, we have to be there an hour before kickoff.
Yeah.
So if we're going, you know, we try to get there about 10, 15 minutes before we have to actually be there.
And here's my thing. No matter what's going on in your personal life, you owe those kids the best you.
Absolutely.
And you want to go out there and give them the best version of you. You want to give them a good game. So for me, even on Fridays, no matter what my job consists of, what's going on around me, I want to be prepared. For one, I need to know what both teams' offense they're running, who's their star players. That comes from film study. So I'm prepared when I get out there. So on the way to we meet at the mall or somewhere, on the way to the game, kind of lay back, talk a little bit, but then we also start talking football then. And you talk both teams then, game management then. You pregame before we leave most of the time, and then sometimes you get there, you're going to pregame at the field too. So once you arrive to the field an hour before, everybody have jobs to do. So the umpire and the white hat, they're the ones that are going to talk to the coaches. Short wing guys, one going to stretch change, make sure it's 10 yards. Check the down markers, make sure we got 4 downs. Back judge, if we're running 7, they're going to be in the no-fly zone because, you know, back in the day when at Miami and Florida State, always fighting in the middle of the field, they're standing at the no-fly zone so those teams can't cross each other. So they won't, to fight or anything like that.
It's important to be there because 2022 state championship game I had in Auburn, 2 teams tried to go after it. Yeah. While we was inside getting all of our radios and all that hooked up, so we had to rush out there.
Yeah, so you have to be there, prepare for that. But also, when you walk the field, soak in the atmosphere. And once it kicks off, you're locked in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you,
Showtime.
It's showtime, and it's intense, and focus. You umpire baseball. If you care, you're going to be locked in.
Yeah, and for kind of what you said for me, again, I take baseball serious, but I take wrestling a lot more serious because I wrestle. I know the rules. I know the sport. For me, I like to get there, man. I like to get there, early, get the weigh-ins rolling. I like to stretch. I take time, just kind of spend some time with the Lord in prayer, and just really kind of ask Him to help me give these guys the best I got, and clearing your mind and trying to make sure.
Speaking of that, we do say a prayer amongst each other before kickoff. Once we send the teams go to the locker room before they come back out, we get together.
Stretch. That's when we do all that.
We say a prayer as well. Yes.
But I used to get. Guys would say stuff to me because I would even before the tournament starts, I'm out there doing drills that I used to do when I wrestled.
Right.
Because it's helping me get my feet loose, helping me get ready moving around the mat. Because,
you're up and down.
I was going to say, I'll tell you what, I remember the first time I ever officiated wrestling, guys. I woke up the next day and I physically felt like I'd been in a car wreck. From up and down, sliding around the mat. I mean, it'll wear you out. All right, a couple more questions. We're going to wrap this up.
All right.
You guys both did a Super 7. Jason, 2022 for you. Devon, 2017. You see both of these guys are rocking their shirts from the Super 7. So, man, just talk about that experience getting called in the Super 7.
I'm going to tell you what, man, it was unbelievable. When you get started in this, you hope one day you get that phone call. I got my phone call night before Halloween, 2022, about 9:45. Mr. Bell calls.
He remembers, baby.
Yeah, absolutely, about 9:45.
Remember what he was doing.
I remember what pants I was wearing, what color socks I had on.
But it was unbelievable. It was a great experience. We had the 5A game in Auburn. It was Ramsey and Charles Henderson. Great ball game up until they threw an interception, and I think it ended up being 42-21 was the final. Wouldn't trade it for nothing in the world. Die-hard Bama fan. I don't dislike Auburn as bad because Auburn, Jordan Hare's always be a special place for me.
That's what I'm jealous of because I went in 2017.
And it was Alabama.
And it was in Alabama, at Tuscaloosa.
And the snow, Devin.
I was in
unprecedented.
the frozen tundra of Tuscaloosa. So folks say, hey, you got a Super 7 in snow, like you were lucky to be there, But I remember getting the call. And you want to be recognized for what you do.
You were wearing blue jeans at the time.
I have no idea. I probably was drinking a beer. I'm sorry, my bad. But I got the call, told my wife, and I remember tears come to my eyes because I was excited, nervous, but felt validated to a certain degree because you're going to I put the work in. And go to Tuscaloosa. I think my game was on that Friday. So that morning it snowed. It's cold. When you go, one game you're gonna hold chains.
That's why they do it then.
Yeah.
Now they've changed it.
They changed it. One game you're gonna hold the chains, then your game you're gonna officiate. I remember being so nervous out there. The stadium, Brandon looking so huge to me that I probably went to the bathroom like 2 or 3 times. And they was looking for me like to take the picture, and here I'll come running to the bathroom. But it was
You was that guy.
Yes, it was so fun though. But the stadium was huge, and once it kicked off and the first tackle happened, like everything shrunk.
Yeah.
And then the next year I think I did the Mississippi Alabama game the next year, and so it's just fun and such an honor. So if I don't ever go back, I like to celebrate in the successes of other people.
Absolutely.
When he went, I'm so excited for him because I see the work that people put in. And we're the next ones, especially being as vice president in leadership. We put guys up to our district director saying, hey, this guy can do this. We have a rating at the end of every season for first round, second round. And along with our district director, Keith Robinson, who just got elected to the
Matter of fact, he's going to the Hall of Fame this weekend.
Yes.
Or coming up.
Yes.
Keith Robinson, beefy. Everybody knows Keith around here.
Shout out to you.
Yeah, shout out to you, Keith.
Real quick,
but one more thing, the way they do it now, they'll pick a Super 7 crew, the one that's going for that district, and they started with the year I went, and we worked the playoffs together.
Yeah.
So we worked second round, third round. We didn't work a semifinal, but that year we went to Gadsden City, and then we went to 5 the third round. 5 in Tuscaloosa County.
Yeah, when I started, you were just with guys you didn't know.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but it's such an honor, and I hope everybody gets to experience that.
Well, guys, thank you for all you do for East Alabama.
Appreciate you.
We appreciate
Thank
you
you.
guys.
Thank you.
Make sure if you want to be an official, you reach out to these guys. They have their
Yes.
first meeting next Thursday, but Jason Boatman and Devon Berry. Hey, that's going to do it for us today. Again, I hope all of you have a great 4th of July tomorrow.
Yes.
Hope you'll join us on East Alabama Now News tonight at 6:30 p.m. And again, don't do anything stupid tomorrow with fireworks and boats. I know from experience.
Be safe, y'all.
All right, we'll see you guys next week on The Locker Room.